There is so much news hitting right now. I mean, it is from every direction right now, from Marvel, from DC, from Warner Media, from the indies. There's just so much to talk about. Um, yeah, let's get into it. It's this stuff's coming very very fast right now. Hey everybody, this is Perch. I mean, when you wake up on a Friday, apparently news drops Friday now. This didn't used to exactly be the way it works, but now we're seeing a lot of news coming in kind of from all fronts in the world of comics and comics media. So I already mentioned the Superman news that Brian Michael Bendis has run in somewhat unexpectedly in December. This, nobody can say that this was the plan because we just got word a couple months ago that it was a long way off, and December is not a long way off. So this definitely feels a lot more quick than was expected. But that's not all that's happening. I mean, at DC, we finally know what Endless Winter is. I have a video coming up just talking about that, which will drop. But basically, that this is a event that will be contained solely in December. So it's a 9-issue kind of intertitle little event, which is what we thought it was going to be. But that's where that's at. DC has also announced that they are canceling Batman Beyond. There was some talk that they would be cutting about 20 to 25% of their line, very much in alignment with the 70s, the DC implosion. But this is a place where they're just removing their line. Batman Beyond joins Teen Titans, Young Justice, Suicide Squad, Hawkman, John Constantine, Hellblazer, and I've heard there's a couple more that is going to be a reduction as DC continues to kind of streamline their slate. However, we also have the Batman Catwoman has an official release date. It is December, and it's changed, I think, quite a bit. Maybe this was the original plan, but this wasn't at least what was being communicated out. So December 1st, we'll see the first issue of Tom King and Clayman's Batman Catwoman limited series. This has been announced to be out of continuity. It's, I believe it is being published in Black Label. It's not going to be impacting the current Batman run. And it's going to follow kind of multiple different timelines of Batman and Catwoman's relationship. And from their very first meeting, first kiss, to their marriage-ish that they kind of had. When did the Bat and the Cat first fall in love? Did they meet on the street? How did it happen? And kind of this, and where it all goes. Originally, the Batman Catwoman series was said to debut Phantasm, the character from the 1993 animated film Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. But it's you can assume that it's still happening, but it feels like this title has shifted a little bit to be more of a, I don't know what's the right word, not anthology, but more of a kind of looking at it through 3 separate timelines, 3 separate relationships, very much kind of a kind of look at the 2 characters and where they are going. Over in the world of Marvel, Children of the Atom is a book by Vita Ayala that was promoted and then kind of mocked, and then it seemed to vanish. We weren't sure it was coming out. It is coming out in January officially. It will be back on the slate, and it will be finally published. So for people who have been looking forward to that title, it is going to happen. We're seeing a bunch of kind of, December and January at Marvel should be a lot of King in Black. That's what will be dominating. We are still getting a few other things. We're getting an Iron Man, Doctor Doom versus Santa Claus special in December from Marvel, which is a little weird. Over in Thor, we're getting the Midgard serpent that is going to, be kind of, at least it's unclear if this is, because I've seen different things, if this is actually going to be in the comic or if this is, just the variant. It's unclear if this is an iconic moment from within Thor or the Midgard serpent, who certainly has been a major part of Thor storylines, is going to actually be in the book. And then writer Philip Kennedy Johnson, who wrote he's done kind of a couple of the Empire tie-ins. He's doing the Marvel Zombies Resurrection. He has claimed he has a new Marvel Comics project in the works. It's a dream come true. huge. He always wanted to do a zombie book, and this is bigger than that. So this is a huge Marvel book that he says he's writing, and he's very excited about it. We don't have a lot of clues other than he mentions that he really likes Captain America, he likes Old Man Logan, and he likes the Hood as characters. That may mean absolutely nothing, but Johnson is going to be back or bringing this kind of big project, and he's teasing it as a really big thing. And then in addition, Black Cat, which was canceled earlier for reasons unknown, is returning to an ongoing series. She was teased to be part of King in Black. Now we're learning that Black Cat #1 will be coming out in December by series writer Jed MacKay, CF Villa, both returning to the series. So why the book was canceled and then relaunched is anyone's guess, unless they're just hoping for a big #1 bump. I don't know. But it's launching not just as a new #1, but it's launching as a #1 tie-in to King in Black, which is pretty much always a terrible idea in terms of sales. We've seen this with Mighty Avengers went through this back in the day. Relaunching your book with the exact same creative team and in the middle of an event tied into that event is a curious choice, but well, whatever. That's what we're getting. Outside of comics a little bit, Wonder Woman 1984, the word has come down that this movie is delayed indefinitely. They're not putting a new date on the mix. Originally, it was going to open the film October 2nd. That has just kind of gone completely on the shelf at this point. I think that maybe that was about, it was a result of what Warner Bros. Saw with Tenet, which is Christopher Nolan's new film. It generated about $20 million in the U.S. through Labor Day, which for that film probably should have weighed in about $150 million. So it's a clear sign of what's happening in the movie industry right now, and why it's not the right time yet. People are not they're not making money. So Wonder Woman 84 delayed indefinitely. We don't have a date, but pretty clear at this point it's going to spiral out into 2021. It's not coming this year. So how it ages and how all that stuff goes down is going to be, going to be tricky. So I think there's so many other pieces of news. I haven't even gone through the DC solicitations yet. There's a lot of things that we've learned there. A couple, basic, some basic titles that are coming in, new creative teams, things ending. And by the time I post this, there will be 5 more news stories that will be out. So it's really it's hold on tight and keep up. I think it's going to be a lot like this through the rest of 2020. I think 2021 is just going to be pretty bonkers in terms of what comics are going to look like. I do believe very strongly that Marvel is going to go through its own massive layoff and culling and other pieces, kind of as we head in, much like DC did, where Death Metal has had the fortune or misfortune to live through this change. I think King in Black and potentially, if it moves faster, Ten of Swords, but I think it's more the King in Black timeline. We're going to see Marvel's own kind of massive changes internally. But I'm hearing so many things at this point. I get a decent amount of text messages and calls and on various email chats. There's just a lot of noise right now in the comic industry. People concerned certainly about their job, where things are going, how the comic companies are adapting and aligning. I did a prediction video, I think more than a year ago now, really talking about how we would see over the next 2 years Disney and AT&T really try and consolidate their comic lines to be a lot safer, a lot more mass market, a lot more kind of globally centered, where they're thinking more about a global audience. And it would result in a reduction of the line, a lot more corporate control. I think it's clear to me that prediction is correct. It is absolutely happening, and it's probably happening faster than I predicted it. I think that by the time we hit this time next year, summer 2021, I think comics are going to look a lot more, for Marvel and DC anyway, a lot more product-based, a lot more streamlined, aligned from a corporate perspective. I think it provides an opening to the indies, but the question is, are the indies going to be able to find good breathing room when you also have on the side manga making increasingly aggressive inroads into the US market, and Scholastic making increasingly aggressive inroads to own, particularly the YA audience. I think a lot of people are getting squeezed in that market. But more on that later. I hope you join me for live chat tonight. I've got a special guest who's a writer, editor, and recently just up for a Ringo Award. I'm very excited to have him on to just chat comics. And I hope you all will join and give him some good questions, and also, learn. It's somebody who is different from what many of the voices you've normally heard, and I think it's a great opportunity to learn more about the business and hear what's going on from a different perspective. I'm very excited about it. Anyway, I hope you're having a great end of week. Like I said, there's 5 more pieces of news that no doubt is going to break the second I post this. But yeah, I mean, buckle up. It's a crazy time.